What's up guys, it's Jack Gadd here. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I've last made a YouTube video. It seems like ages ago. But I wanted to just start putting out some more content across different platforms. So YouTube, I'm going to start doing some weekly videos, hopefully on some different topics. And today I wanted to talk through my 8-year transformation from when I actually first started lifting. Some of the photos from when I was younger are not very good, so there will be some horrendous ones as mentioned. And I'm just going to take you through a bit of a timeline of when I actually first started lifting, picked up a dumbbell, and where I am today currently. So before I actually get into any of the older pictures, I want to just show you like the pre-lifting days, because I think a lot of transformations you'll see, you won't see when the first person actually, what they were like genetically when they were younger. So you'll see this photo here. I am not a genetically gifted young lad here. So in this photo I was probably, I was 14 years old. So it was a holiday to Lanzarote, and you can see in the photos, like my arms, they're skinny. I was skinny fat at this point. This was at a party during that year as well. Like there was no kind of build to my chest or build to my shoulders, and makes me so envious about all of the young lads being in the gym now. Is they're so far ahead of the game that they're gonna look great when they're 20, 21 if they go through with things. So I was never really a big lad. Like when I used to play rugby, I was always a winger, so I was always like just kind of put towards the end where I probably wouldn't get hurt because I was pretty quick. But yeah, my kind of muscular prowess, I didn't have much use there. All right, so you can start to see a bit of my genetics earlier there, and this was when I first started getting into lifting. So 2011 was when I started college. I actually did public services because I wanted to be a policeman when I actually finished school. That was like one of the things that I wanted to do, and this is the first time I actually got into a gym, because the college actually had a gym where there was barbells, dumbbells, machines. There was everything that we could have needed to really just kind of start off. And questionable deadlift form here for sure, but it was something that just got me into the gym and actually just getting into lifting, and started doing a bit of research, but not too much, and kind of dwindled with it throughout that first year in 2017, because we joined college in the September. I actually started doing a bit of MMA as well, so just pursuing some different hobbies and different passions. I've always liked boxing and MMA, like kickboxing from all of the old films with like Jean-Claude Van Damme and everything. So I thought, why not? Let's just try this out and see how we go. So it was a good year. You can start to see in this photo here, this was on like a college trip. I was gaining a little bit of muscle, like nothing massively, but you can see the t-shirt is a little bit more filled out than it was when I first showed you. My biceps, you can start to see a little bit of a peak coming in, but nothing much to really shout home about just yet. This photo here, arms again looking pretty similar, but I was getting into it a lot more. I was training at my gym at my home as well, so not actually a home gym, but one that was around the corner, as well as the college gym. Like that really kind of boosted me to get into the gym in my local area. And this was a photo which is horrendous. Like look at the hair, that's so bad. This was on a college trip to an army base. I don't know who took this photo, but you could start to see where I'd been lifting. My structure and my shape was starting to come out, which you can see now. So like one of my kind of bigger points at the minute is my shoulders and my chest. Like they're kind of two decent-ish parts on me, mainly my delts, but you can start to see the shape come through a little bit more, where I was obviously lifting fairly consistently on a week-to-week basis. So that was 2011, which was I think it was the second year of college, it must have been, or first year, either way. It was like the college days. It was only a year and a half, 2-year long course, and you can start to see in these photos where I'd been fairly consistent for a little while now. Like my biceps were looking a little bit bigger. This was on my first holiday with Molly, so this was like the first picture where I saw her. I thought, cool, this is working. This is actually working really, really well now. I can start to see like my kind of arms looking a little bit bigger, my shoulders were a bit bigger. And at the time, my biggest like inspirations for the gym were like Zeus and Jeff Side, and just that kind of whole Gymshark crew, which looking back is so really cringe now, but they were a big inspiration when I first got started, as you can see by the pose that I was doing. And my nutrition and training at this time was sort of based around like Simply Shredded articles. Like I'd read an article of what someone was eating, I'd then follow that diet and then follow their training plan, do a bit on YouTube. I think at the time I was watching Scott Herman as well, when he was quite big, doing like his superset type training where you would pick a weight for however many reps, you'd do that and then do 2 supersets straight after, and that would actually only be 1 set. So you do so much volume in 1 session. And I think I just grew quite well. Like you see in that photo, my chest and shoulders and everything's looking quite like just a lot bigger and like a lot more prominent than any other photo before. If you go back to the kind of the one in 2011, like from the one where I'm just like this and then to that one there, like it's just a lot better, where I'd obviously been a lot more consistent with my food, even though I didn't really know what I was eating just yet. So kind of fast forward to the end of 2012, this was when I actually went on to my apprenticeship. So this photo here must have been September 2012, eating a whole chicken because gains, right? That's when I really started actually getting into proper nutrition, because I'd finished college as well. I was actually away 5 days a week with EDF, who I was working with at the time. So we'd have access to the gym, like my food would be whatever I wanted each day, so I wouldn't kind of be conformed to what mum and dad were having. So I'd just eat protein all day and I would just go to the gym and go home. And I was getting really strong, so strong I started picking up my friends, which you'll see in that photo there. And yeah, just enjoying lifting, which was decent because I just wanted to get a routine and consistency going because I'd seen the results already and I just wanted that to carry on through. And still wasn't really sure what I was doing with training at this point, but I still had a bit of an idea just from who I was watching online, and kind of just following their routines. So 2013 was a weird year. I didn't really do much like in terms of the gym. I was kind of going if and when. I got back into actually doing mixed martial arts as well, so that was something I got back into quite heavily, and I was more focused on that than I was in the gym, and really didn't change much through 2013. So you'll see in this photo here, like I look pretty similar to what I did the year before. Nothing really changed. I didn't get any bigger, I didn't really lose any muscle. I probably lost a little bit where my nutrition wasn't as good because I wasn't actually training as regularly as I was before. But yeah, 2013 was a bit of a wipeout year where not much really happened. So I'm not gonna spend too long talking about that because it was a bit boring. Just got into more MMA at that time, when that faded out towards the end of the year. 2014 was when things really started to pick up. So I was in the last year of the apprenticeship here. This picture is summer of 2014, so my legs not really looking too fantastic here than they look now. Obviously they've grown a lot since then, but this was actually when I first started to reach out for help and actually pay for help as well. So the summer of 2014 I decided I wanted to prep the next year, because I was getting more into it throughout actually the start of 2014 itself. I wanted to prep in 2015, so I knew that I needed to get bigger. So I actually reached out to a PT in my gym, who was really kind of in the bodybuilding world at the time, competed a few times and looked awesome. So I actually went and did some PT sessions with him, and he ripped me up a diet plan, where it was obviously just a lot of food. And to actually learn about training intensity and actually how to push myself hard was a key factor in obviously actually growing, to allow me to actually put on muscle, because intensity is another thing and obviously volume is another, but you need to learn how to train hard as well. So these photos here is sort of towards the end of the year, where I started to obviously see the kind of fruits of the hard work that I've been doing. At this point I kind of took over my own nutrition and training, reverted back to some old habits with training in terms of lots of volume, but it kind of worked out quite well. Obviously, as you can see from the photos, I was starting to put on some decent muscle. Food at the point was, I was eating sort of close to probably around about 400 grams of protein a day, which is horrendous, way too high. My carbs, I don't know, and my fats were, I don't know either. It was just, I would eat everything and anything when I possibly could just to get calories in. I remember taking to work, it was like a box of, well, two tubs of like beef and rice, or chicken and rice. with obviously my normal meals throughout the day, and then I'd take like a bottle of olive oil with me and actually use that as a condiment instead of ketchup, mainly just to pour fats on it to get more calories in, which looking back now, those meals must have been about 1,000 calories each, just absolutely horrendous because all the calories coming from olive oil, and they really were not very nice, tasty food. But you can see obviously from the photos, I was putting on a decent amount of muscle during like that amount of time. Yes, probably a lot of body fat and more than I needed to, but I grew. And obviously things like my squats, they were getting strong again. You'll see here in this video, I was repping 140. The form is very questionable. You'll see in the video, obviously in front of you, the form isn't great, but I was repping 140, which for that kind of age at 20, like to be able to do that, I was very, very happy. Like it's not something to be sniffed at all. And this is sort of towards the end of the year. So these were the kind of pre-phase prep photos before I actually started the diet. Late 2014 and like the very kind of first few days of 2015 here. And you can see my legs actually grew a lot since the photo back in mid-year of 2014, from obviously just doing a lot of decent heavy lifting, getting strong on my squats, and just generally just getting strong overall. Those photos back then were kind of actually when the prep was starting. That was the condition I kind of started in. I was about 196 pounds at that point, so it was the heaviest I'd ever been in my life, closing in, well, pretty much 14 stone. I was trying to get to the 200 pound club, but I didn't quite make it. Luckily enough, I didn't give myself the chance to put on more body fat than I needed. So here we start prep. This is the kind of the first photo where I started seeing myself get a little bit leaner. Abs actually coming through for the first time in my life. And one of the things you'll actually notice with all of the photos is I've never actually had abs in any photo from when I actually started lifting. And that's just because at a young age, I think you should focus on growing muscle rather than actually trying to get lean. The early stages in your lifting career are going to be the best for muscle growth. And if you can actually be sensible with a caloric surplus, probably more sensible than I was, you'll grow very, very well, instead of dieting constantly and trying to look lean for every event under the sun. So you'll see here in this photo, this is when I really started to actually see the kind of efforts that had gone into the year before with actually just nailing the gym and really trying hard with training. Obviously you can see my kind of chest is starting to split a little bit in that photo, bit of biceps and a few veins coming through, but not massively lean, like okay-ish, probably enough to go on the beach lean here, but not enough for a prep. So we keep going throughout the year, start seeing new things coming through, like you see in this photo, my delts and my arms are coming through a little bit more here. You'll see my back is holding a lot of fat. This is just something which naturally holds more fat for me. So it just takes a little bit longer to get leaner, unlike my chest and my delts and my arms, which, because they're a bit more muscular, my back tend to get leaner quicker. So this was, I think, probably around about the 8-week out mark of my first show. I'm getting chest striations now, which is great because I've never seen that in my life. Like, I'm getting abs again, which you'll see in this photo here, which is amazing for me because I've never seen all this stuff before. I've never seen veins like this. I've never seen my just body look this way at all. So everything is new. Like every day there was a new line, a new vein, just something to look forward to, which was great about the first diet. This is my back finally getting lean. It took ages and it really didn't come in until about 3 weeks out from the first show. But I was happy with the first show result, which is this picture here. Pretty good, like pretty lean for my first ever time competing. I managed to actually get second in that show, which was a novice category at the MPA. And then from that, I actually finally got a coach to actually coach me through prep, which is the best decision I made. To hold me accountable and to actually learn more as well, because at the time I really didn't know a massive deal about training or nutrition or enough to kind of get further than where I got to. So obviously having a coach helped me really accountable for that rest of the year. And that's actually why I achieved this physique at the end of it, which took 3rd in Britain in the novice class, which was, for my first time competing, I couldn't complain. Like, I did achieve more than I thought I would have. I didn't even think I'd get to the finals. So that was kind of 2015 and that year kind of done there, because that finished in October. So now we come into 2016. So this is the year after the show. You see here, obviously in this photo, I'm kind of gaining back some of the muscle that I potentially would have lost during competing. Still holding on to some veins, but getting a little bit heavier. I did suffer a lot with putting body fat back on from my 2015 show. but it was just because my first time competing, I didn't really know what to expect. So you just kind of, you roll with how you feel, and you add body fat at a pace you enjoy, rather than just kind of getting fat too quick, which I definitely didn't do, because I should have really, because my kind of hormones took ages to get back to normal. This was actually the year where flexible dieting became really popular for me, and Instagram as well. Like, if you actually scroll back through my feeds on my Instagram a couple years ago, like, my feed was just food. Like, the whole thing was just food. A new food picture with Reese's Pieces, and just stupid, because I was well into If It Fits Your Macros to a point where I'd save a lot of calories for the end of the day just to make a delicious meal, which on hindsight looking back, is definitely not the right thing to do. But it made me realize in the long run that that's not the right thing. But I think in moderation it can be really, really good. You'll see here I'm posing with a picture of donuts for some reason, but it didn't stop me from training well, because training was awesome. You'll see in these videos here, like, I was squatting 4 plates quite comfortably with decent depth. It was really, really powerful in the gym again, because food was obviously coming up, body fat was coming up, so it was feeling great, like feeling really, really good. Deadlifting, I was sort of at the point where I was doing 180 for reps, for multiple amounts of sets, which was really, really good, and I just felt strong, powerful every time I was in the gym, and my physique was showing. So like you'll see in this photo here, my quads were just blowing up, which is amazing, because I'd never seen them that lean and that big before. They've really sort of come along since the year before, well, 2014, where they really weren't that great. And again, in this photo here, you can sort of see I was holding on to leanness through most of the year, while just gradually getting bigger. Especially in like areas where I was weak, like my hamstrings in this photo, and my arms as well, which were just gradually kind of getting a little bit bigger as the year went on. So yeah, I think 2016 was good, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. 2017 is where everything really changed for me in terms of my growth from a physique and a learning and a personal perspective as well. So this is actually near the start of 2017. So I felt like I looked pretty good for off season here. Like, I had decent delts, my arms were looking a little bit bigger, and I just was looking a lot thicker than I ever have before. I was probably about 10 pounds off of my max off-season weight here, so still in fairly good nick with my condition. But yeah, again, my strength it skyrocketed during this year. And the things that changed from 2017 to 2016 was how meticulous I was. So training data, that was something which I focus on every session. Every session I try and beat myself by a rep, a set, an extra bit of weight, and that was the sole focus for every session, was to add a little bit more, to do something a little bit better, or just to train like slightly harder. In 2017, I just saw some real massive growth in terms of my physique. As you can see here, like chests and delts, again, getting bigger than they were in previous years. This is some of the lifts that I was actually doing. I think this is 162.5 kilos. So yeah, like probably 20 kilos up on the year before, but just so much stronger, just more powerful in every aspect of my lifting. And it was actually the year where I just took a lot of time to spend on myself and my knowledge as well. Like you'll see here, this horrendous picture with me and AJ was at Body Power, so I was kind of getting more in with the crowds of coaches, just learning from them, learning actually what they do. People like Dr. Mike Israel as well. I was learning a lot from him, the 3DMJ guys, Muscle Strength Pyramid books, attending what seminars I could to just take my knowledge from where it was to a lot higher. And 2017 was the year where I really kind of, I developed in that side of things as much as my physique did. And you can see the correlation between my physique and my knowledge, how things got so much better. This is the kind of, probably the heaviest off-season picture I took that year. Legs are the biggest they've been, my chest are, my arms are as well, and just everything just got a lot better and a lot bigger. I actually did a photo shoot that year as well, because I did want to try and get some images for like my website and everything that was going to be up later that year. And you can see here in this kind of photo shoot how much I developed since the show in 2015 and where I'd grown. And that photo shoot was almost quite a quick diet, and I didn't really go too balls to the wall with the tracking side of things with my nutrition, but it was good. I got lean pretty quick, and this was when we were in Mexico in 2017. Like, that condition is something I feel like I could maintain quite easily. and I really enjoyed actually getting to that point and maintaining it for a little while. Actually, it was decent. It was like not too lean to the point where it's contest prep, but just nice beach lean where I could really enjoy myself and not feel like a bloated whale all the time. So yeah, really enjoyed that in 2017, and this is just a picture towards the end of it where I reversed back into my bulk after the holiday, and obviously you can start to see I get a little bit thicker. My face gets a little bit more moon facier, and yeah, we just start to really get into the off season again before prep starts in 2018. So this is New Year's on 2017. I went as a Jamaican bobsleigh, and I thought that was one of the best costumes that I've actually had ever. And this was when me and Molly actually moved into our second home. So I started prep, left my job, and actually started online coaching fully, because I'd been doing it on the side for about 1.5 years before that. I just fully left my job, went all in, moved home, did everything all in 1 year, prepped as well that year, and just kind of really went all in with everything in life, like especially with the coaching and the prep as well. We just really just dived in, and this was where I started prep in 2018. I was again at 196 pounds, so you can see the difference between that 196 to where I was 196 back in 2014, 2015. The muscle and the change from the period of then is something which I really enjoyed seeing. Very happy with kind of like these shots. You can see like my hamstrings have grown absolutely loads in this photo. I just look a lot thicker in like an upper body and just quads as well. So everything was really kind of at its peak and in a perfect position to start prep. So as sort of prep went on throughout the year, it was a long prep. It was a 30+ week prep, because I wanted to win a lightweight class in Britain. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. That's what I wanted to do. I unfortunately didn't achieve that at the UK FBA, but I did at the MPA, which was awesome because I was the MPA lightweight champion that year. So yeah, that was kind of the goal ticked off, and these are the photos actually throughout the year. You can start to see, this is where I kind of really started to see my physique come through with the years I'd spent building it since 2015. Really happy with this photo when I saw this. Like, a lot of people think, yeah, you're in really good condition here, but there was another 20 pounds to lose off this photo, which is just mental when you really think about like another 20 pounds off of that. So yeah, you can start to see a few shots from in the actual 2018 prep. This was when I drank a really small cup of coffee in a hotel on my birthday, but it was the first time I'd ever actually been able to relax without properly tensing my abs and actually see them. So it was nice to actually take one of those photos where I didn't have to like full on tense my abs, and they were just showing by themselves. So yeah, this is kind of getting towards the start of the first show. So this is probably like peak week, I imagine, these photos you're seeing on the screen now. And then this was the actual show itself. So I actually entered the middleweight class here because I didn't fall into the lightweight category. And I actually won this class, the middleweight, and that was the UK DFBA. Really like my best look to date, obviously, of that season, because it was the first show. And when you compare that to back in 2015, I was just well happy with what I've managed to achieve. Like, super happy. The changes were great. Jumped into another show the week after, which was the MPA middleweights. I actually came second here because Charlie, who is the winner in that photo, was just better than me in every aspect. He was a real great competitor, really thick, dense muscle. I was gutted to lose, obviously, but he deserved it. So yeah, he absolutely smashed it, and he looked fantastic. So yeah, from there, I did decide that I was going to go for the lightweights because I thought, bugger it, like I can get leaner. I know I can, and I'll have a better chance of winning. So you can start to see here where we really went for it in terms of fat loss. Like, as things started to get a lot leaner, you'll see like chest striations or even more. Like, I've got veins pretty much everywhere in my physique, and this was one of like kind of the final few shots on that actual peak week itself for the UK DFBA, which is where I got 4th. Gutted to miss out on 3rd place, but it's a learning curve. They did say that I was probably a little bit too tall for the class because I was on the peak and I didn't really get a chance to fully load up on carbs for the actual peak week. But it is just one of those things where you learn as you go. I think I'll probably naturally be a middleweight next time, but I know I can get lean enough to be in a lightweight, so it's always going to be a catch-22. And it was the first time I'd ever actually seen glutes in my life, which was amazing. I'd never really seen them before. So yeah, week after, again, another week after that show, did the MPA, won the lightweights. That's me with mum and dad. And that's me with the trophy, and then that's me with Molly. So yeah, it was a really, really good year. Topped it off by actually taking a trip to Rome at the end of prep, which was amazing. Pizza tastes so much better when you've prepped for 30+ weeks and lost 40+ pounds worth of weight. It was amazing. And it was just such a successful year for me from a business perspective, from a personal perspective, and a bodybuilding perspective. I learned so much during that year about myself, about competing, about helping clients. Like, it was just such a good year for everything really in 2018. So yeah, I was super happy with that, super happy with what I achieved. And then we go on to 2019. So this is kind of the first couple of photos post-show, and you can start to see obviously like I gained muscle back pretty quick from where I potentially lost a little bit during the prep itself. This was in New York with Molly. Really enjoyed that trip. Again, it was nice to just take some trips away and not focus too much on bodybuilding, because that had been a massive focus of the year, of actually just bodybuilding. Like, sometimes when you're prepping for that long, you forget about life outside of it. So it was nice to just get away from bodybuilding. And yeah, it's just throughout this year, it's been another year of learning, lots of seminars, which you'll see some photos from the ones that I've been at. Ones with Cliff Wilson this year, which was awesome. And in terms of my physique development this year, it's been a bit hit and miss, because I actually did get married to Molly as well, which you'll see the photos come up on the screen for that. And I did want to look a little bit leaner for that, so I didn't really go into much of a surplus post-show, because I was already kind of back down and trying to get lean for that, and lean for our honeymoon in Maldives, where I kind of was in decent nick, but it wasn't as lean as I wanted to be, because it was a bit of a failed diet. My side, I just didn't really give the opportunity or the dedication it needed, and I think that was just because of the last show I just did. Like, I just did such a long diet. My kind of dedication to diet again was very, very low. But yeah, that was kind of that part of that year, and this is kind of where I'm at right now in terms of my physique as of filming this. This was a couple of weeks ago, so really happy at the minute. I'd say I'm sort of around about the same level of muscularity as 2018 at the start, but in a lot leaner position. So I'm pretty much just as strong as I was in the 2018 stages before I started prep. So at a roughly 14 pounds less body weight. So I'm quite happy with body composition right now. Next year is going to be a big year for me, because that's going to be another year of trying to just put on as much muscle, because I'll likely compete again in 2021. But we'll see, like things change, might not. I'd like to, because that will likely be sort of one of the years where I just feel like I'll be ready to compete and achieve what I want in that. I really want to win a lightweight class with the UKDFBA, and I won't do it until I know that I can get there, because at the end of the day, like, the next kind of goal for me is winning. From getting 4th and then 1st in the MPA, like, the biggest thing for me is winning again. And as kind of egotistical as that sounds, like, I just want to make sure that I'm fully 100% ready for it, and that's the next goal really in terms of bodybuilding. Coaching has been great for this year with the clients, which you'll see some snaps come up on the screen with like who I've got to the stage this year. So I've kind of lived through them with bodybuilding, which has been great, and obviously all of my other clients who are general sort of population who have got goals in terms of like getting leaner and getting muscular but don't want to step on stage, they've had awesome results too. So it's been a good year. I've learned so much from every aspect, from coaching to my physique, and that'll only continue, and I learn as I go, which is great, and we develop as we go. So hopefully another good year next year, hopefully stay injury free, and that's my 8-year transformation. So this is when I started to then this is where I am right now, and I'm over the moon. Like, it's a lot of hard work, especially when you're doing it naturally. The gains can be extremely slow, but as long as you're willing to put in the effort and just go all out, then you will get results. I guarantee you. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Obviously, if you want to see more, make sure you to like, comment, and also subscribe for the next video, which will likely be up in the next couple of weeks, as I kind of return to YouTube and focus more on putting out some content on here for you guys. Cheers, guys. I'll see you soon, and hope you have a good day.